I researched a couple of schools, but Richmond always stood out in the end. Just the reputation that it had, just in being able to talk to some of the former students that had attended the program. Everyone had excellent things about it. I toured the campus. The campus was beautiful. And just understanding the curriculum that they offered, I felt like the Richmond MBA and the Richmond experience was something that would help me, and that would stand on its own, but it would also help me in my future as well.
Well, I work at Capital One. I've been in the Richmond area for quite some time. I was actually an undergrad at the University of Richmond as well, and wanted to stay local. I wanted to stay working with my company and do a part-time MBA program as opposed to taking a sabbatical and doing a full-time program. So I already knew that I wanted to stay somewhat local. Having been familiar with the University of Richmond Business School, being an undergrad, to me it was a no-brainer. Excellent school, excellent faculty. The fact that they had a part-time MBA program was a slam dunk for me.
This was one of the programs where for a part-time student it was more than worth the value. I mean, it was definitely worth it. It was close to where I live, that's a perk. And the good thing is, we are a part of the college itself. I mean, it's not as a separate program for the part-time students and a separate program for the full-time students. We definitely feel a part of the college, which was very important to me. Added to that, the reputation of the college and the kind of staff that we have and the teachers that we have, the professors that we have. So it was just a great package.
It was a toss-up between VCU and University of Richmond, and I went and interviewed both programs, and at that time it was Arlene Davis that was in the University of Richmond office, and after talking with people at VCU and University of Richmond, there was really no choice. The school's just got a fantastic reputation and a really strong alumni. I knew that's where I wanted to be, and also when I walked on campus I actually got butterflies in my stomach because I was a little intimidated by the school, so I knew that I really wanted to be challenged and knew that University of Richmond would be right for me.
Oh, it was a pretty easy decision. University of Richmond's well known in the Richmond area. They had an evening program which worked well for people who work full time, so it was quite an easy decision.
Favorite class, either strategic management with Dr. Snorbus or operations management with Dr. Alte. I just like the interaction. Dr. Snorbus especially had a lot of real-world experience, a lot of real-world he can relate to the classrooms, especially his work with Campbell and stuff like that. It was just a lot of real-world, you know, you go to school, you learn all these theories and other stuff, but it seemed like with him especially, there's a lot more real-world tie-in.
Strategic management with Professor Roger Snorbus was definitely my favorite class in the master's program, and ironically it was my favorite class in the undergrad version when I was at the University of Richmond. Professor Snorbus is amazing with what he brings to the table with his years of business experience. The kind of debate that we foster in the class, the different cases that we would look at, the different viewpoints that we would explore was really, really interesting. So that was by far my favorite class.
There's so many great classes. I'd have to say the best was probably strategic management with Roger Snorbus. To do case studies every week and get the different perspectives of different people from different companies, and to really analyze past corporations and what they had done and what they could have done better. So it was a lot of great group discussion.
Favorite memory overall was probably the international residency. We went to Brazil in 2004. Actually getting to work with a Brazilian company, just getting a whole different perspective on what they do, and our company actually wanted to come into the U.S., so helping them out, and then just going to Brazil. I mean, I think that was a very valuable experience, just getting a different culture.
If I only get one, I don't know. Probably the trip to Brazil. I mean, not many people get to go out of the country, and you know, we got to go to Brazil and see their stock exchange and learn about their business world. So that's probably it.
Favorite memory is probably the opening residency. That was a time where everybody was new, everybody was trying to get to know each other, and I look back and I can't believe it's almost been 2 years since that first orientation session that we had. But that's probably the fondest, best memory that I'll take away. It's just the bonding that happened, meeting so many fresh people, and meeting so many great people, so many talented people at that too. And those are friendships that I've carried on through the program. They've only gotten stronger, but that was sort of the beginning of it.
Probably open residency, because that was when we all kind of met each other and we became a pretty tight group of friends. and we, learning about everyone and where they all worked and where they all came from, that was probably the best part of the program.
Opening residency, and something tells me you got that answer from quite a few people. Opening residency was definitely the most fun that I think I've had, I should say, in the MBA program. It was the first time all of us were brought together. And in my class, actually, not very many people knew each other. There was a real diversity from different companies in the area. We had quite a few JD MBAs, a couple of full-time MBA students. And so we were kind of thrown into this mixing bowl and had to get to know each other really fast, actually in the same place in the Jefferson. And so we bonded very quickly. I think we became notorious as a class for being very, very close. We all still are very close, even though we've been graduated now for 3 years. So by far, opening residency was my favorite memory.
Favorite memory? It would probably have to be opening residency, just because it was such an intense event for everybody. It brought all of us together as a student body, not just as students, individuals. But it was just so intense, 24 hours a day basically for the whole weekend here at the Jefferson, and just forged really long-term friendships after that, because we knew we'd all been through it together.
I've learned that you have to have resiliency. You have to lean on each other to get through the program. It is tough, especially if you're working, but they've so many backgrounds. It's very diverse, background in terms of different work experiences, different cultural experiences that all of my classmates have. So they've just taught me a lot, just from a diversity standpoint, just about other cultures, other industries, how those guys have been successful at their jobs, and taking different things away that I can help and use in my job and be successful as well.
Definitely a lot. I mean, I have a very, very rich and diverse friend circle here. I mean, none of them are regular Joes that you can pick off the street. I mean, everybody is accomplished in his own field, and everybody contributes and brings something to the table. So you learn something from each and everybody in the class.
I learned what a lot of my weaknesses are, and they helped me actually to work on them. Through all of the team projects and discussions that we'd have in class and things like that, I really learned some of the, preconceived ideas that I had about working with other people, and I had to toss them out the door and just really move forward and learn to work with all kinds of different personalities.
Even though my job position hasn't changed, what I do and how I get to interact with some of the management has. So it's been beneficial.
It's helped in an infinite number of ways. It taught me time management. It built my skill set. It gave me exposure to a lot of different people and a lot of disciplines. Every single day I go to work, the MBA really helps.
Definitely teaches you how to research and how to think about problems. And I work in teams all the time, so it teaches you a little bit about being a team player and working in a group environment. And it also teaches you to think a little bit more strategically and to think a little bit more long-term about the upstream and downstream impacts of decisions you make. I think is probably the most help I've gotten from the program.
It really helped me to, cement my decision to build and grow my own business as opposed to going to work for a corporation. And in what I do now, I actually get to help corporations improve their metrics, with what I've learned from the MBA program. And I do some consulting work for other small business and nonprofits too. So it's just really been immensely helpful for me to pass on the knowledge that I got from the program.
I like the networking one thing, seeing people I haven't seen in a year, and it's nice. I mean, it's Jefferson, so how can you say no?
But it's a chance for us to all get together and see each other again too, because we did make some pretty good friendships over the course of our time here, and it's great to get together and see everybody again.
It's just a great way to reconnect with them and say hello and see the professors and even meet some new people that we haven't, maybe haven't met before.
It's great to come back each year and kind of see where everybody's at, how people have changed, who's gotten married, who's had children. And it's really, it fosters a family dynamic year after year to come back to.